once upon a time, in 1988, some of you might not have even been born yet, we produced and published our first arts and crafts map. A little tribute to 1980s design. I must just mention in passing that for the first 10, 12 years, our designer was the iconic Jennifer Sorrell of Arda magazine fame. It was a great working relationship for many, many years. And when I took out all these maps, I must tell you, I laughed and laughed, and I quickly phoned Jenny to say, Jenny, I'm so embarrassed by some of them, all the things that we thought were so wonderful. Anyway, in those days, I also must tell Marriott as well that tourism was a concept rather than a reality. But even way back then, the idea did take off. And it was just a recipe that worked wonderfully well. And we realized we had a great product there. And since then, ANC Maps, which stands for Arts and Crafts Map, which was the first map that we produced, but ANC's got a really kind of nice political sus to it, you know, as it turned out. It's been a recipe that really worked very well, and the very first year that we used it, we worked out we needed 40 people to be on the map to make it economically viable. We got about 32, you know, this being Cape Town. Gee, Philip, that's a great idea, but come and see us next year. Anyway, we decided to put on food stops, and we quickly got quite a few restaurants aboard. And after 2 years, we didn't need the restaurants anymore, so we dropped them. And we instantly got feedback. Hey guys, we liked your recommendations about restaurants, and the restaurants complained saying we got great business from it. So we started a whole series, and from arts and crafts, we suddenly became food. Now I'm showing you our current designs, and that's where Design Infestation took over from about 2002 or 3. Since then, they've been putting up with me. Then we did the Antiques Map. Then 4 years into our democratic dispensation, we brought out the Pink Map. And despite our liberal constitution, it got us a lot of flack. And, but there's no such thing as bad publicity. And we really hit the headlines from Japan to Israel to out to Arizona. We got the most incredible feedback, and it's been one of our most popular maps ever since. And then just this year, we've added, you know, subsequently, or each year there have been different ones. But this year alone was the first year we did the design map for Cape Town, which we did together with the Design Indaba, Cape Town Tourism, and working with Creative Cape Town for the first time. We also worked with the city with the library map. I mean, as Cape Townians, do you know what libraries there are? Libraries were mentioned by you, but how to get to them, how to access them, yes, and the drill halls there too. And then, did anybody know that Darwin came to Cape Town? And you know that he spent 18 days going around Cape Town and surrounds, and this year to celebrate the bicentennial of his birth, we've just brought out, in fact, it's about to be launched next week. In fact, this week, but it hasn't been launched yet, so you're getting advanced warning about that one. And on the drawing board right now are Cape Town Green Map and the Cape Town Kids Map, both of which are websites which exist right at the moment, but a print map is coming out as well. So those are two things that we are looking forward to as well. And you know, although each one I've shown you has got a very different handwriting, and you might think in terms of branding that's kind of bizarre, but we are addressing different audiences. And it needs, although we're using the same recipe, the icing is always different. You know, it might have some nuts on, or the recipe changes slightly. There's more variation of the theme, but the basics are there. And what are the basics? Behind every map, we have what we call the 3D principle. 3 seems to be the magic number today, 3 of this and 3 of that and 3 wise words. But the 3D mantra is data, design, and distribution. Without those 3 elements, a map ain't going to work. The data, it's the hard facts. And boy, did Zaid and I have plenty of arguments about this one for the map we're going to be talking about now, the Explore Creative Cape Town. It has to be pithy, it's got to be there, it's got to be real, authentic, all the words you've heard this evening. Design, it's making the facts sexy and appealing. And then distribution, ensuring the map really reaches the target market. How do we get it out there? So that's a very important aspect. But basically the design has to be accurate, and that raw data, and I mean, that's how it starts off. It's just a Word document with lots and lots and lots of information, which we formalize, and that's got to be translated through good design to make it visually attractive, and it's got to be user-friendly. So from there, you get to something like this, and this is about finding your way around. And that's where design infestation comes in. Working their magic design, well, a magic design wand, I call it, to transform the raw data into an easy way for you to find your way around. It's all about creating a very friendly sense of welcoming accessibility. You know, you arrive in a town and you book into a hotel, you don't even know how to get out. So it's the moment you feel comfortable in a place, the moment you have that sense of accessibility, a place becomes welcoming. And that's really what we're trying to do. We're trying to make it very accessible. It doesn't matter what your field of interest is, whether it's pink, whether it's food. By the way, everybody's interested in food. That's one of the most popular things always. But you want to make it accessible. And the word map says that. It says, I'm going to show you the place. And that's what's so important. Well, it's been a hugely creative challenge to work with the partnership. It's not that only Zaid is a challenge, but just working in terms of creating our latest map, which has been the Creative Cape Town map. It's about finding a way, how do we get you to understand what creativity really means, and how do we give you the texture of the city? That really has been a wonderful process. So I'm not going to reveal more than just that at the moment. You've seen the cover up, and you've already been looking at the map, so the secret's been given away. But I'll leave that to Christo to explain more what the maps are all about and how we get to that particular stage. But just let me mention the 3D before we get it, because we're not focusing on it. Without distribution, it doesn't matter how terrific a product you've invented, designed, or created. If they're going to be sitting around in a cupboard or storeroom somewhere, it's not working. So the mantra is design, data, design, and distribution. And Christo, it really is your turn to say how and why you put up with my demands.